The crowd had been laughing just moments ago. Dressed in tuxedos and gowns, they were sipping wine and judging him with smug grins. The janitor, dusty uniform, worn-out sneakers, a bucket and mop. What was he doing near the grand piano on that glowing stage? But when he sat, rested his fingers on the keys, and played the first note, the entire hall fell into a hush. By the time he struck the final chord, even the most stone-faced guests had tears sliding down their cheeks. No one expected the man who cleaned the floor to be the one who touched their souls. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe our channel for more real-life inspired emotional stories. Marcus Hayes had never asked for much in life. Just peace, a roof, and enough food for him and his daughter Leela. Ever since his wife died in childbirth 7 years ago, Marcus had worn many roles: father, mother, janitor, and secret dreamer. Every morning he cleaned schools, and by night he swept stages at fancy auditoriums in New York, watching performances he could never afford tickets for. His daughter Leela was the fire in his chest. Born prematurely, she was delicate but sharp-minded. She loved to listen to classical piano on an old radio Marcus found in the trash and repaired. Every evening, he'd hum Chopin while washing dishes or carrying her upstairs. And late at night, when she was asleep, Marcus would sneak into the backstage corner of the auditorium he worked at, one with a grand piano, and play the music he loved. No one knew he could play. No one knew he had once been a prodigy. But life had other plans. Years ago, just when he had received a partial scholarship to Juilliard, his father fell sick, and his mother walked away. He worked 2 jobs to survive. Dreams faded, and when Leela came along, she became his dream. Still he played, quietly, when no one was watching. Then came the Hearts of the City Gala, a charity event that brought together billionaires, celebrities, and influential names. Marcus was assigned as the stage janitor, cleaning between rehearsals, making sure everything gleamed. He watched the pianists practice, young, rich, proud, some talented, some arrogant. One evening, as he stayed back to tidy up, he couldn't resist. He sat down at the Steinway Grand and let his soul flow. He didn't know someone was watching. 3 days before the gala, Marcus was sweeping when one of the performers, a 23-year-old violinist named Bryce, walked in with his entourage. Bryce noticed Marcus near the piano and sneered, "Careful, old man, that thing costs more than your life." The hall burst into laughter. Marcus said nothing. He had learned to swallow humiliation like bitter medicine. But that night, Bryce found him again at the piano after hours, playing Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major. "Who taught you that?" Bryce asked, genuinely surprised. Marcus stood. "Someone who loved music." Bryce laughed cruelly. "You should do that at the gala. Might get a few extra dollars in your tip jar." A word spread. Soon, the performers were mocking him behind his back, whispering about the janitor pianist. One woman even recorded him playing and shared it on her story with the caption, "When the mop plays Mozart." Marcus didn't mind. He had long stopped defending himself. But then, one evening, the event organizer, a stern but warm-hearted woman named Clara, came early and heard him play. She didn't say anything, just stood behind the curtain until he finished. Her eyes were red. She walked over and said, "Would you consider playing at the gala?" Marcus blinked. "Me. I'm the janitor." Clara smiled. "Tonight, you'll be the soul of the show." He refused at first, but she insisted. Said the final performance slot was empty. Someone had dropped out. And when she found out about his story, she said the world needed to hear it. Marcus agreed, but only if they didn't announce his name. He wanted it to be real. The gala night arrived. Cameras flashed, champagne flowed. Leela sat hidden in the wings, wearing a borrowed dress and smiling proudly. Clara had made sure she had the best seat possible. The evening was full of laughter, shallow applause, and showy performances. When it was Marcus's turn, Clara simply said, "And now to close our night, a very special guest." When Marcus walked onto the stage in his janitor uniform, people laughed. Some whispered. Others looked confused. Bryce snorted audibly. Marcus said nothing. He sat, placed his fingers on the piano and began to play. It wasn't just a song. It was pain, loss, love, sacrifice, joy. His life poured out of every note. The hall was silent except for the trembling melody. Some guests began crying within minutes. Others leaned forward, stunned. When he finished, there was no applause at first, just stunned silence. Then a single clap, then 2, then thunderous standing ovation. Many rushed to him, asking his name, his background. But Marcus simply looked at Leela, who had tears in her eyes, and smiled. The next morning, videos of his performance had gone viral. Janitor shocks gala with piano performance trended everywhere. News anchors called him a miracle. Juilliard reached out. He was offered multiple scholarships for himself and for Leela, who showed signs of musical genius too. But Marcus didn't want fame. He told the press, "I just wanted my daughter to see that no matter how dirty life gets, the music inside you must never die." Sometimes, the ones who clean the stage are the very ones meant to shine on it. Marcus Hayes never wore a suit that night, but he wore something deeper: humility, love, and unshakable truth. And in that truth, he taught an entire city something money never could.